Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So today we are going to be doing a Xbox One X hard drive replacement tutorial. So basically we're going to need a T8, a T10, and obviously which size you would like. You could pick from, well, if you're doing this, well, I mean, it could be bad. So anyhow, if you're just replacing and you're going with the same size, if you have a 1, you could do 1 TB. Otherwise, most people watching this tutorial, they're doing this to beef it up, and you're going to want to do a 2 terabyte. But anyhow, that's what you will need. Alright, so first things first, we're going to need to get in. So we'll need to take our T10 to the black screw over there, and there's one more over there. Once we get those off, the top cover will slide towards you, and then you'll want to lift the right side up and then kind of wiggle it towards you. It's hard to do this on camera, but you'll slide and kind of wiggle it towards you. Alright, and then once you get that cover off, you'll need to take your T10 again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How come I'm only counting 5? Yeah, so it's a total of 6. So there's 2 here, 2 here, and then 2 here on this side. We'll need to remove those as well as these 4 screws that are going to be holding the hard drive in. Next, you'll need to use your T8 screwdriver to remove the 2 screws here, and then carefully lift that up and off. You'll also need to disconnect this. I like to take my fingernail to get the clasp, there we go, up, and then I carefully slide it. You could carefully use like some plastic tipped tweezers or something to disconnect it, but it'll just pull down to go out. So next you'll need to split, basically. This is the best way I could describe it, that piece will pull off. And so then on the top there'll be 2 screws, one there and one there. You'll need to unscrew. Just keep in mind which one's which. One is a little shorter. It's a T10 driver used, by the way. Then this whole metal shield will pull up. You may need to finagle where the disk drive is right there, because it likes to stay kind of stuck to it. Alright, next we'll go ahead and grab the disk drive and carefully lift up and over. And just kind of set it up on top of there. Try to do as little as tension as possible on these cables. Then once you're in there, you could disconnect these 2 cables and this whole thing will come right out. Alright. Now once we got the hard drive pulled out, it'll be secured by these 4 screws. And those are going to be a T10. And just to be clear, it's those smaller ones, not the big ones. I'm realizing that I forgot to mention that you'll need a USB stick. That is for the download, and that is the next step. Before we get that far though, this will pull straight that way, and then this you pull that way, and it will separate. I can't really do much because I forgot my third hand today, but yeah, and then you just put your new hard drive the way that the old one was connected, and then we'll actually install this back into that chassis, put those 4 screws back into place. So we'll need to reinstall the hard drive in there. You'll want to make sure that those, I don't know, you'd call them, those little posts go through the holes down there on the bottom. Make sure these are plugged in nice and snug. And then before you go reassembling, you want to put at least 1 screw up through the bottom, to where those 4 screws go through the bottom, to hold this in place. Otherwise it gets really difficult to screw in otherwise. So while doing it, use extreme caution not to put any pressure on these cables. What I actually did is I put it on the edge of my workbench and then just went from underneath. Alright, so I put these 2 on when it was hanging off the workbench. So now we want to put these 2 on. It's likely a good idea to do this first. You put this case back on, the long screw goes on the left, the shorter one goes on the right, And then that way when you flip this over, it's not going to have any issues with pressure, pulling on cables, anything like that. You'll need to get it back on the housing. I like to plug the cable in first. And then come from the top down. Then we could go ahead and plug that in, bolt it in, and then get those 6 screws back in. We could then secure our top cover. It's the complete opposite of like when we took it off. You'll need to put this left side in. I put it like in, and then like that. And then carefully get this right side in. Be very careful not to damage that cable. You could then put those 2 back screws back into place, and then you'll need to get your thumbstick ready, because we'll need to do the programming, then we're done. Alright, so you'll need to plug your thumb drive in your computer. Go to whatever the location is. On mine it happens to be removable E. Right click, and then go down to format. We're actually going to format as a NTFS. NTFS. Just click start, okay, it's going to tell you, it's going to wipe it all, click OK, that's fine. Once it's done, you'll go ahead and get that download going. So I'm going to be on the Microsoft website. So you just go to Google, type in OSU One, Xbox One. Make sure it's the official Xbox, it'll be support.xbox.com, and that's the one you want to click on. Right here in step 1 is the download. It's right here, you click on it. It should take a few minutes to download, just let it do its thing. Alright, so once it's done downloading, you go into your downloads. It's usually where it's at. Locate it. And you'll need to right click, but don't let go, and drag with the right click, and then release in the thumbstick folder. And you'll choose extract here. Once it is done extracting, go ahead and right click the location and choose the eject option. Then once it's safe to pull it out, it'll say safe to remove, and then you can pull it out. Go ahead and insert your thumb drive into your Xbox and then fire it up. You'll need to go down to the troubleshoot option and hit X. I apologize, it's an Xbox, so it's A. Hit A, then go over to offline system update in the upper right in here, and choose that, and let it do its thing. There'll be a total of 3 steps it'll need to go through. As you can see, step 1 of 3, downloading, then it'll be verifying, then it'll be applying. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for viewing. Be sure to smash that like button, drop a comment. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe, as well as hit that bell notification so you don't miss any new videos.